Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. Right now, tens of millions of people are eating walnuts every single day on their morning oats, tossed over a salad, grabbed straight from the jar on the counter, and almost every single one of them is getting maybe 20% of what this nut can actually do for their body. Not because they're eating too few, not because they chose the wrong variety, but because nobody has ever told them the one thing that unlocks everything. The fix takes 30 seconds the night before and costs nothing extra. But the reason it works is completely different from what every health video on this topic claims. The most repeated explanation in practically every soaked walnut video is flat out wrong. And because everyone is chasing the wrong reason, they're missing the most important thing soaking actually does. I've ranked the 7 most powerful things that happen when you eat 5 soaked walnuts on an empty stomach every morning from least impressive to number 1. And number 1, a published randomized clinical trial found it improved muscle strength by around 12% and directly reversed a core biological marker of aging in just 4 months. Not slowing the decline, reversing the marker. And the compound responsible is one your own body produces from this nut if you prepare it correctly. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do tonight, and you will never look at walnuts the same way again. Here's something your doctor has almost certainly never raised in a routine appointment. Your body is supposed to run a continuous internal process inside every single cell. It's called MPAG. Think of it as your cell's built-in recycling service. Your mitochondria, the tiny power generators inside each cell, wear down over time. They get damaged. They stop producing energy efficiently, and your body is supposed to identify those broken down mitochondria, tag them, and clear them out so fresh, healthy ones can take over. After 50, that recycling process slows down significantly. So instead of a clean fleet of energy generators running inside your muscles, your brain, your heart, you accumulate broken down mitochondria your body can no longer clear fast enough. Scientists now describe this as one of the central hallmarks of biological aging. It shows up as the muscle fatigue on the stairs, the grip that isn't what it was, the afternoon energy that disappears, the recovery after a walk that takes longer than it used to. That is not just getting older. That is a specific, measurable biological process, and researchers have found a natural compound that directly targets it. Your doctor will recommend watching cholesterol, managing blood sugar, staying active, all valid, but those conversations address the downstream symptoms of cellular decline. They don't touch the engine room. What follows goes further upstream. Now, before we get to the benefits, we need to correct the biggest mistake in the entire soaked walnut conversation. Every wellness blog, every health video, every naturopath tip about soaking walnuts says the same thing. Do it to remove the phytic acid. Phytic acid is an anti-nutrient that blocks mineral absorption. The claim is that soaking dissolves it out overnight. Here's what nobody admits. A study published in Food Chemistry measured phytic acid in whole walnuts before and after soaking and found the changes were small and inconsistent. For whole, unbroken walnuts, soaking is not a reliable way to significantly reduce phytic acid. That is what the measurements showed. So why does soaking matter? Because something else entirely is happening, something far more important. The brown skin on each walnut half is packed with tannins, the reason raw walnuts taste bitter and dry. Those tannins form a barrier around the polyphenols, ellagic acid, and ellagitannins in the skin, making them significantly harder for your gut to access. You leave your walnuts in water overnight, and by morning, the water is dark brown. That is the tannins releasing. When you drain and rinse, the skin is open. The ellagitannins, the compounds behind the most powerful benefit on this list, are now bioavailable in a way that doesn't happen with an unsoaked walnut. Most people eat walnuts with that barrier fully intact or buy them roasted, and roasting heat degrades those compounds before the nut reaches them. You're capturing the calories, you're leaving the most powerful biology behind. Soaking is not about phytic acid. Soaking is about opening the skin, and the skin is where everything begins. Now let's go through the 7 benefits, starting with the least impressive and building to the one that changes everything. Benefit number 7, cholesterol and heart protection. Let's clear this one first because you've already heard it 100 times. Walnuts lower LDL cholesterol. Multiple large clinical trials confirm it. Research in the Journal of the American Heart Association shows regular walnut consumption reduces bad cholesterol and triglycerides over time. The omega-3 fatty acid ALA reduces inflammation and supports cardiovascular health. Real well documented. The least exciting thing walnuts do. Here's what most videos skip. The omega-3 in walnuts is ALA, a plant-based form your body must convert into EPA and DHA, the forms the brain and blood vessels directly use. That conversion is poor, roughly 1 to 10% into EPA and under 5% into DHA, and it declines further after 50. The fix: eat your soaked walnuts alongside a small healthy fat, olive oil, half an avocado, a soft-boiled egg. Fat improves how these compounds move into circulation and meaningfully improves what the ritual delivers. That's benefit number 7, real but the least interesting thing on this list. Let's move to what you haven't heard. Benefit number 6, cortisol and stress buffering. Most adults in the developed world carry chronic, low-grade stress as though it's simply part of modern life. The racing thoughts at 11:00 at night, the irritability on an unremarkable afternoon, the fatigue that doesn't match how much you actually did. A 16-week randomized clinical trial from the University of South Australia found that eating around 2 Oz of walnuts daily had a measurable protective effect against the mental health impact of chronic stress. Participants maintained better mood scores and improved sleep quality compared to controls. A crossover trial from the University of Barcelona confirmed that walnut consumption reduced perceived stress and improved mood states in healthy adults over 18 weeks. 2 mechanisms drive this. Walnuts are a reliable plant source of tryptophan, which your brain converts into serotonin, your primary mood-stabilizing neurotransmitter, and they deliver 11% of your daily magnesium per serving. Magnesium directly regulates the adrenal cortisol response, and magnesium insufficiency is one of the most common nutritional gaps in adults over 50. The downstream consequence: chronically elevated cortisol signals your liver to release extra glucose overnight, driving the blood sugar instability behind 3 a.m. waking, late-night cravings, and the sluggish morning that takes 2 coffees to shake. Backed by clinical trials almost completely absent from mainstream walnut content. Benefit number 5, gut microbiome remodeling. Here's a framing you have never seen in a walnut video. Walnuts are a microbiome remodeling tool, not a snack, not a topping, a food that measurably changes the bacterial population of your gut within weeks. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Nutrition found that eating 1.5 to 2 Oz of walnuts daily for just 3 weeks produced significant measurable shifts in gut microbiome composition, increasing butyrate-producing bacteria, including Faecalibacterium and Roseburia, while reducing secondary bile acids linked to colorectal cancer risk. A second, larger randomized trial of 194 adults confirmed these shifts at 8 weeks. Why does this matter after 50? Butyrate is the primary fuel for the cells lining your colon. When butyrate-producing bacteria thrive, the gut wall stays intact and inflammatory compounds stay contained rather than leaking into the bloodstream and driving the systemic inflammation behind joint pain, brain fog, and the chronic conditions defining modern illness. The morning fasted timing matters here. With no competing food in the gut, polyphenols and elagitannins from the walnut skin travel directly to the large intestine, where these specific bacteria live. Clean, concentrated delivery. Within 3 weeks, most people notice reduced afternoon bloating, more predictable digestion, and less gut reactivity after meals. 3 weeks to a measurably different gut from a food that costs less than a coffee. Benefit number 4, sleep quality and the melatonin effect. This is the most surprising one on the list. Most foods promoted for sleep contain tryptophan, which your body may eventually convert into melatonin through a multi-step chain, requiring the right enzymes and a cooperative gut, an indirect, variable process. Walnuts are one of the few commonly available foods containing actual preformed melatonin, the same sleep-regulating molecule your brain releases at night, alongside tryptophan, magnesium, and B vitamins that support its production. That combination in a single food is genuinely unusual. In 2025, researchers from the University of Barcelona published a randomized controlled trial in Food and Function. 76 adults ate 40 g of walnuts daily for 8 weeks. Results showed measurably increased evening melatonin biomarkers, improved sleep quality scores, reduced sleep onset time by 1.3 minutes, and lowered daytime sleepiness. The first randomized trial to show daily walnut consumption objectively elevated melatonin and improved sleep quality. One detail most videos miss: the study gave walnuts at dinner, not in the morning. The researchers concluded it was daily consistency of intake, not specific timing, that drove the benefit. This morning ritual automatically sets up tonight's sleep quality every single day. For adults over 50, magnesium deficiency is one of the most overlooked drivers of fragmented sleep. And walnuts deliver 11% of your daily value per serving, helping regulate GABA, the neurotransmitter that quiets the nervous system at night. Published in 2025, the clinical trial confirmed almost nobody is covering it yet. Benefit number 3, blood sugar control and vascular protection. The afternoon energy crash, vision that blurs after a heavy lunch, feet that feel numb by evening. These are not unrelated symptoms. They are downstream expressions of the same problem: blood sugar instability quietly damaging the microscopic capillaries feeding your peripheral tissues. Your retina burns through glucose faster than almost any other tissue in your body. When blood sugar spikes and crashes repeatedly, those tiny capillaries accumulate damage over years, driving early vision deterioration and the slow loss of circulation that millions of adults over 50 attribute entirely to age. The polyphenols in the walnut skin slow the rate glucose enters the bloodstream after meals. A study in Nutrition Journal found a diet enriched with ALA from walnuts significantly reduced markers of vascular tissue breakdown compared to a standard Western diet. Here's the connection no other video makes. When L-argintannins reach the large intestine intact, only possible from soaked raw walnuts eaten fasted, gut bacteria convert them into urolithins, which have documented protective effects against oxidative stress in vascular and retinal tissue. This morning ritual simultaneously slows your post-meal glucose curve and generates vascular protective compounds that circulate through your body all day. The retinal and vascular angle is one nobody else is connecting to the soaking ritual. Benefit number 2, the walnut skin, the most wasted part of the nut. Walk into any supermarket in any developed country and look at the nut aisle. Roasted, dry roasted, honey roasted, lightly salted, heat processed in some form on almost every shelf. And that heat is working directly against what this nut can do. The papery brown skin holds the highest concentration of ellagic acid, polyphenols, and L-argintannins in the entire nut. These compounds are temperature sensitive. Processing heat, even light dry roasting, degrades them before the nut ever reaches you. You are getting the caloric profile of a walnut while losing the most biologically important part. There is also the bleaching issue. Many commercially sold walnuts are treated to produce a clean, uniform, pale appearance. Naturally dried walnuts are golden brown with visible variation. If yours look very white and uniform, the skin has been chemically affected. One ingredient on the label, walnuts. Anything else listed, and it's a snack product, not a functional food. Raw, unbleached walnuts soaked overnight so the tannin barrier is removed. That is the non-negotiable foundation everything else depends on. This is the information that changes what you put in your basket every single week. And now, benefit number one, everything in this has been building here. When elegant tannins from the raw walnut skin reach your large intestine intact from a soaked, raw, unbleached walnut eaten on a fasted stomach, specific gut bacteria break them down into a postbiotic compound called urolithin. Urolithin activates autophagy, your cellular system for clearing out damaged mitochondria and replacing them with new, functional ones. Multiple independent randomized controlled trials back this up. A study in Cell Reports Medicine 2022, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled over 4 months, found approximately 12% improvement in leg muscle strength, clinically meaningful gains in aerobic endurance, significantly reduced C-reactive protein, and measurable improvements in mitochondrial gene expression in muscle biopsies. A separate trial in JAMA Network Open in adults aged 65 to 90 confirmed significant muscle endurance improvements alongside improved mitochondrial health biomarkers. A 2025 paper in Nature Aging found urolithina expanded functional immune T cells in middle-aged adults within 4 weeks. Immune system frontline capacity being meaningfully restored at a cellular level. Now, here's the critical part almost nobody explains. Only around 30 to 40% of adults can efficiently convert L-tannins into urolithina from food. The specific microbial strains required need to be present in sufficient numbers and receive their substrate intact. That is exactly what this ritual accomplishes. Soaking removes the tannin barrier so L-tannins are fully accessible. An empty stomach means no competing proteins diluting delivery to the large intestine. And the microbiome remodeling from consistent walnut consumption creates a more hospitable environment for urolithina-producing strains to establish and grow. You are not just eating a nut. You are cultivating the internal biology that does the most important cellular work of your life. Persian physicians used walnuts restoratively for over 1,000 years. Li Shizhen's Compendium of Materia Medica in Ming Dynasty China described them as tonifying to the body and nourishing to the blood. They were soaked. That tradition survived for centuries because the results were real long before trials existed to name the mechanism. You are not following a trend. You are recovering a preparation practice that modern food processing discarded. Now, here's exactly how to do this. Tonight, before bed, place 5 raw walnut halves, roughly 2 to 3 whole walnuts, in a glass or ceramic bowl. Cover completely with water. Leave overnight at room temperature. In the morning, drain the dark water and rinse once under cold water. Eat them on an empty stomach. Chew slowly, 20 to 30 chews per walnut. Wait 20 to 30 minutes before coffee and at least 30 minutes before breakfast. That is the complete protocol. Avoid these errors. Do not use plastic, glass, or ceramic only. Do not skip the soak. Do not buy roasted, salted, bleached, or flavored walnuts. One ingredient on the label, nothing else. Do not stop prescribed medications. This works alongside medical care, and do not expect the deepest benefits in 3 days. Microbiome changes take 3 weeks minimum. Autophagy level cellular changes take 4 to 8 weeks. Your mitochondria did not decline in a week. Give the biology real time. Here is your 30-day challenge. Tonight, put 5 raw walnuts in a glass bowl of water on your kitchen counter. Tomorrow morning, drain them, rinse them, eat them slowly before anything else. Every single day for 30 days. Before you start, write down 3 things. Your afternoon energy out of 10, how your legs feel on stairs or after a longer walk, and your sleep quality. Write those numbers down. Check at day 15. Check at day 30. Most people notice the stress and cortisol shift first, a quieter, more even afternoon around week 2. Sleep improves in weeks 2 and 3. The physical shift, stairs that feel easier, the walk that used to drain you that now doesn't, arrives in weeks 3 and 4. That is the mitochondrial housekeeping showing up in daily life. By day 30, it is automatic. 5 soaked walnuts every morning, 30 seconds the night before. Compare that to urolithin supplements now sold in health stores across the UK, Australia, Canada, and the US at 40 to 60 pounds or dollars a month. This ritual gives your gut the substrate to produce it for itself. Your muscles will thank you, your gut will thank you, your sleep will thank you, your independence will thank you. Start tonight. 1 glass bowl, 5 raw walnuts, cold water, 30 seconds. Everything in this, the tannin removal, the ellagitannin delivery, the microbiome remodeling, the cortisol support, the sleep quality, the vascular protection, the urolithin production, the autophagy activation, all of it flows from that one ritual done consistently. Your body already has the machinery to do all of this. It just needs the right raw materials prepared correctly, reaching the right place every single day. For decades, the modern food industry has sold convenience across every developed country, roasted, processed, shelf-stable versions of foods that previous generations prepared with care. Somewhere in that trade, the most important parts were quietly lost. You are not broken. The preparation is broken. Fix the preparation, fix the biology.